Snick Ra, and welcome to Bear in Mind casts the X-Men.
Hello.
As you can see, we are doing awful cosplay today. As I'm hairy and greying, I've put a white shirt on, so I'm being
my
taxi
visor's
driver
slipping
Logan.
off my face.
And we've got Geordie LaForge. No, Cyclops. Yeah, that's it. So today we will have a bit of fun. It's in between seasons of double feature and whatever we're doing next. We know what we're doing, but bit of a surprise.
Something. We always know what we're doing.
We always know it. Yeah, never winging it. Not at all. Obviously, last year now? Seems such a long time ago. That Disney bought Fox. That it finally went through.
Last year?
I think last year. We'll say last year. Depends on when you're watching this. We're recording this in
This is
2020.
the year that will never end anyway. So
yeah, it is the eternal year of 2020. So yeah, at some point Disney bought Fox, and with that they got all the X-Men properties. Recently, actually, the first, I suppose, Disney released X-Men film went out with New Mutants.
Yeah, technically,
yeah. It's getting okay reviews. It's already. I mean, it's 2.5 years old as it is.
That right there is how you know the world is ending. New Mutants has finally hit a cinema screen.
Yeah, it's finally out. So we are going to discuss quickly how we would reboot the X-Men or introduce them to the MCU that we know and love. And with that, who we cast as some of the core team. Now, I'm not a big comics book reader myself. James is a bigger reader than I am. So James has chosen the 10 characters that we're going to cast, but we've chosen different actors each.
And first up is Cyclops.
Now, shall we go straight into the characters, or are we going to discuss how we're going to reboot, or we're going to do the reboot discussion at the end?
We'll do that at the end. Let's go into the characters.
Very well. All right, your Cyclops then, James.
I went for Lakeith Stanfield.
Why?
I don't know, there's something about him that I just think would make a good Cyclops. I very much enjoyed him as the detective in Knives Out.
Yep.
He's great in Sorry to Bother You.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you've watched The Atlantic, haven't you? It's not a TV show I've watched, but you, I think you've watched it.
Yeah,
the Donald Glover.
The Donald Glover show. Yeah. Atlanta, not Atlantic.
Atlanta, that was it.
Yeah. It's about a city, not a body of water. Yeah.
I just there's something about him that I think would make a very good Cyclops.
Yeah, I think Cyclops is I mean, obviously for mainstream consumers like myself, like I've only really experienced Cyclops in two realms: the '90s cartoon and the Bryan Singer films.
Like, it's said that they think that Scott Summers should be dull, but I don't think that Scott Summers should be earnest. He doesn't necessarily need to be dull. Yeah.
I think he's definitely a character that I think needs a renaissance as such. Someone the quality of Lakeith Stanfield, certainly. I don't necessarily know the comic book character of Cyclops as well as I probably should do, but Lakeith Stanfield is an outstanding actor, and I certainly agree with you that I think given the right script, given the right director, he is someone that would certainly put a stamp on it. It might not be everyone's take on what they want Cyclops to be, but I think as far as quality of actor goes, there's not many that can hold a candle to him, especially for his age, because he's surprisingly young.
Yeah,
he's only what, 29, something like that?
29, yeah.
Yeah, 29. So.
Because I had the depressing moment of, he's younger than me.
So yeah, relatively young actor, which is I think is going to play a recurring theme in our choices, because obviously we're looking at something that potentially would be quite a long franchise. So I mean, even jumping ahead to another character, Hugh Jackman, famously Wolverine. He started playing Wolverine when he was about 30. And look how long he's played in now. It's 20 years now. So there we go. My Cyclops. Who did I choose for my Cyclops? Oh yeah, that was it. Speaking of Wolverine, one of the big fan favourites for who might get Wolverine next is my choice for Cyclops. He is probably more suitable to play Wolverine height-wise. I didn't realise how short he was, actually. But in recent times, with Baywatch and his new dad bod, there have been plenty of people who've been calling for him to be cast as Wolverine. I think he might be cast as Wolverine, but not in my reboot. In my reboot, Zac Efron is going to play Cyclops.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad shout.
No, I think he's got the looks, he's got the charm, which I think with an extension of the version of Cyclops that I know from the from the cartoon series in the 90s and from the Bryan Singer films, I think that a more charismatic version of that Cyclops, that Zac Efron could very, very comfortably pull that off.
Yeah.
Where it goes, I don't know. I also think Zac Efron probably has the acting chops, again, as he's getting older, a little bit wiser, more experienced. Give him the right script, give him the right director. I think there's quite a bit of potential there with Zac Efron.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, next up is Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. I'll go first for Jean.
Yeah.
And we'll flip it, and then you can do yours. Now, obviously, again, my experience of Jean Grey, she's usually taller character. She has she's got a physical presence as well as the eventual incredibly powerful mutant presence. I've gone a little bit different though. Again, I've gone for a slightly shorter actress, although one who has shown her power in Netflix's Glow. She's got incredible acting capabilities. She can do humour, she can do romance, drama, you name it. And again, young enough that she's probably got some longevity out of this, and I've gone for Alison Brie.
The actress most people want to play She-Hulk.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd go for oh God, what's her name?
Well, I would think people want to play for Jennifer Walters' side of She-Hulk.
Fair enough. But yeah, Alison Brie, I think she's got the youth, she's got the looks, she's got the physical chops, as she's proven in Glow. She's not scared to get in a fight, and I think that's going to be something that would be necessary in a more modern take of X-Men. Because I think Jean needs to get her hands dirty. It isn't just going to be a question of putting her fingers on her temples and doing some magic. So
I always think Jean Grey should be a force for compassion within the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for Ana de Armas off of Knives Out.
Oh yes.
The central character in that film. I think it's a great film. It's a Rian Johnson film.
Director of the best of the Star Wars sequels.
Yes.
Come at us.
Knives Out was wonderful, but throughout she is a very compassionate character. She's also in the upcoming James Bond.
She is, yep.
Yes. Also across from Daniel Craig.
Yep. That probably wasn't an accident.
No.
No, I mean, I imagine that, I think it happens, doesn't it? That especially when a leading actor or actress works with someone they enjoy working with, who may be a lesser name at a time, it will certainly help them get a job later down the line. Excellent choice, I think. I think you banged on with that one. Yeah. She's got that. I suppose the ability to play quiet and thoughtful, and as you say, compassionate, in a way that another Bond girl, actually, Famke Janssen, managed to play in the early X-Men films. Yeah, an underrated performance, I think, from a Famke Janssen in those films. I think
Who is she in?
She's Jean Grey.
Is she? She's a Bond girl? What Bond is she in?
GoldenEye.
Huh.
She's Honor Top. The one of the last proper Bond puns, euphemistic puns. She's the villain that humps people to death in GoldenEye. Well, breaks their back with their incredibly strong legs. But on that note,
I am objecting with recasting the next part.
Go on.
It's the first of 3 I am refusing to recast because I do not want the task of doing it. It's too difficult and I refuse to try. Wolverine. So you're going to keep Hugh Jackman? In this case, no, I'm just not having Wolverine in the film.
Oh, just going to ditch Wolverine completely?
No,
so
I probably wouldn't have Wolverine. I'm just going to go, I'm going to cast whoever you cast.
You're going to cast... That. Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
I agree, all right. But it's easier than picking one myself. I just couldn't do it.
Well, I had gone originally, because casting this, I wanted to represent the short folk out there, like myself, and get Wolverine, the actor, closer to Wolverine in the comics, the hero of all little people, and it's quite hard to find someone who's actually 5'2", so I couldn't find any 5'2s. So I leant towards the 5'7s, because that's where Zac Efron is. So Zac Efron actually, when he likely becomes the next Wolverine, because I think it's unless they cast an unknown, I think it's Zac Efron now.
Yeah, I think they might go for relatively unknowns.
I initially looked at Kit Harington, because I thought he's got that. I mean, we know him best for being a hairy, grizzled northerner in Game of Thrones.
I mean, Canada is the north.
Yeah, and Canada is in the north. Again, he's young enough. He's short enough. He's got the potential longevity. I think the only issue is that he hasn't necessarily shown that much charisma yet, and I think Wolverine needs a certain level of charisma because he can be quite funny as well as being moody, and so I changed my mind and I've gone for someone else who is used to transforming into something quite hairy, and I have gone for, I wrote his name down and I've completely forgotten it. I'll have to edit this out. Oh God, what's his bloody name?
You told me who you went for, but I can't remember either. I've just got a blank spot on my Wolverine list, so I can't help you.
Yeah. I had it literally before I started talking. I had this on the tip of my tongue, and now I'm having.
Have you cast yourself?
I've not cast myself because I'm too old. I turned 38 last week.
Again, Wolverine is over 100.
Wolverine is over 100. Wolverine probably looks my age. However, I'm trying to cast someone that's going to last long enough. Taylor Lautner. That was it.
Ah, yeah, that was who you went for.
Yeah, I've gone for Taylor Lautner.
Already played a wolf, so...
That's what I was saying, yeah, already played someone who's been hairy. Wolverine, remember, is not a wolf. A Wolverine is an angry, stoat badger-like thing.
And yet they much more likely treat him like he's a wolf.
Well, yeah, because obviously, if you ever actually look up what a Wolverine is, if I remember, I'll put a little picture of it in this video.
In the wonderful Tom Taylor run of All New Wolverine, where Laura Kinney, X-23, becomes Wolverine.
Yeah.
And finds some clones of her and adopts a sister called Gabby. They also adopt a pet Wolverine called Jonathan.
Yeah, interesting. There we go.
It's a good one. If anyone out there wants to read some great Wolverine comics, Tom Taylor's All New Wolverine. Give it a go.
Very well. But yeah, I went for Taylor Lautner. So obviously his opposite, his vampire opposite in those films is soon to be the Batman. So I thought he surely should be the Wolverine. He's got the chops. He's short enough. He's 5'8", so not a giant by any means. He's shown that he can be physical. He's young enough. So again, he's going to need some makeup to age him up a little bit. Obviously, I'm assuming he's going to grow a suitable Wolverine amount of hair for the film as well. So he will look a bit young to begin with, but assuming there's a longevity to it, then he'll grow into the part. He's also hilarious. For anyone who hasn't seen Cuckoo, the BBC and Netflix comedy sitcom about a British family in the Midlands in England, a must watch. One of my favourite sitcoms of the last 10 years, definitely, if not one of my favourite sitcoms ever. He took over from Andy Samberg as being the token American guest star for Series 2 and Series 3, with Andy McDowell in Series 4. Excuse me. And yeah, absolutely hilarious. So I've no doubt in my mind that, again, given the right script, right director, he can do what needs to be done as far as a new Wolverine goes. Would he fit into your film, do you think, if you're going to steal my cast?
I'm not doing the film, so...
Oh, yeah,
you'll
you're
see.
not, are you? Yeah.
From one hairy dude to another, next up is Beast.
Ooh.
And I went for Henry Golding.
Golding.
Yes, off of... well, these things I've seen him in are Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Which is a cracking romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And Last Christmas, the Christmas George Michael themed rom-com. Which again is fun. I enjoyed him in both, and I think he could portray that kind of... Because Beast has a certain elegance about him, a certain properness about him.
Yeah, I think when they cast Kelsey Grammer in the original 3, or in that original run anyway of the films, I think they couldn't have done any better, to be honest. Especially at the time, and for the age, because obviously it was meant to be a slightly older Beast. Kelsey Grammer seemed to be perfect. In the same way that I think Nicholas Hoult pulled off a young Hank very well in First Class and Days of Future Past.
Yeah, so. Henry Golding will be my pick for Beast. How about yourself?
My pick for Beast was originally Lakeith Stanfield. As we've already discussed the man, you can probably tell that we're both big fans of him. And I think for me, he would have been that perfect midpoint between Nicholas Hoult and Kelsey Grammer. I think there's a certain... obviously, again, I'm going to play him a bit younger, so he's going to be for a lot of the time, a bit more like the Nicholas Hoult version, but with a certain poise that you get from the Kelsey Grammer version. However, I wanted to do a version of Beast more like Kelsey Grammer, where he's Beast all the time, whereas the Nicholas Hoult version, Beast kind of transforms.
Yeah.
And I also thought, I don't really want to use this, one of the same actors as you. So for this time, sorry if you watch this, Lakeith, I've pushed it aside. And I've gone for Xavier Woods or Austin Creed. So for wrestling fans and gaming fans out there, I've gone for Austin Creed or Xavier Woods. He's got the physical build, although again he's not the tallest guy in the world. He's got the physical build that I think actually with very, very little prosthetic, other than obviously giving him the blue skin and the blue hair and what have you. He's already got the size that you wouldn't need to CGI the hell out of him.
I've encountered him most in D&D live streams. To be fair, that's where I've tended to encounter Austin Creed.
Yeah, and he's funny. He's an excellent presenter. He's emotional. He's incredibly smart. Like Hank, Austin Creed is actually studying for his PhD, so it's not like he's an idiot. So I think obviously he hasn't necessarily done any acting. I think that's the riskiest part of my choice. But yeah, I think given the chance, I think he would rise to the occasion, and I think he'd be a great embodiment of the Beast. So, who we got next, James?
Okay, next up is Storm.
Storm. Shall I go first on this one?
Yeah, you can do.
Difficult one, this. I ended up going with Michaela Cole, who is doing great things on British television at the moment, with Channel 4, BBC, Netflix, you name it. Became famous for chewing gum, but has very much kind of created a total package for herself as an incredible actress, a great writer. I think she's a director, producer. She's very much in charge of everything that she does, and I think that's going to be something that would be key to actually getting a really good Storm. Because I think after Black Panther did incredible things for representing black cinema, and obviously with the sad death of Chadwick Boseman recently, I think Storm is a character that's needed to finally do what she can do and represent what she can represent, and make some decent political and social statements with it. Michaela Cole seems to be the person who, outside of acting as well, is doing everything that she possibly can to do all of those things. So I think as a Storm, she'd be absolutely spot on. So how about yourself, James?
I went for Sonequa Martin Green off of The Walking Dead and Star Trek Discovery fame.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I just, again, similar to the roles played in both of those TV shows, I just think could bring a decent amount of gravitas to the role of Storm.
Yep. I think she's got the, as you said, the gravitas. There's a level of acting chops and presence there, as well as a physicality again, that I think when it comes to a bit of ass kicking, which is going to be a necessity, you can believe that when she punches you, it's going to hurt. I think an excellent choice there. A really good choice.
So we'll do the next two together, because I'm going to discuss my plan as a whole.
Go on then.
So Professor X and Magneto.
As you're going to discuss your plan, you go first. tell us your casting and your plan.
My casting is Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
And
Ian McKellen.
Yeah. Don't know what happened to my mind there.
It was Patrick Stewart dialing in.
They are both getting on a bit now. I just don't think they are replaceable. They're so perfect in those roles, I can't imagine anyone else. So I am going to dip into my reserves of British celebrity DNA.
Yep.
And clone them both.
Ah!
Two younger, late 30s versions of themselves.
Wow.
And cast them in the role.
I mean, why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Why
I mean, let's face it, anyone that's watching, we're not exactly in a position to actually really make the X-Men for Disney. I don't think the mouse is going to call us anytime soon and say,
also,
would you like...
as I say, we need to find some use of that fridge of celebrity DNA at some point, so...
Well, true. Although, probably best kept... Yeah. Shh, don't say too much about that. Fair enough. So you're going to reboot the series by rebooting two of the actors.
I am, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Isn't it? It's one way to go. I will start for my duo of old buddies then. And I'm going to go with Magneto first. And I'm gone with David Thewlis.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Yeah. Who played Lupin, was it, in Harry Potter?
Yes.
Yeah. Played Lupin in Harry Potter. I think again it's as you say, it's difficult to recast because I think certain members of the X-Men, the three that you're refusing to recast basically, they've done what Chris Reeve did for Superman, and a few other actors have done since, maybe Downey Jr. as Iron Man. They are those people now. They are those characters. It is very, very hard to think of
anyone else in that part.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Thewlis has the ability to do what Brandon Routh did for Superman. In that, obviously, it won't necessarily be playing the same Magneto, but I think he could do a good enough interpretation of the existing Magneto.
Yeah.
Definitely take some cues from it, add his own little thing in there and what have you. He's also an absolutely outstanding actor, and a totally underrated one as well. So I think, given the opportunity, I think he'd shine. For my Professor X, I've gone a little bit out there. My uncle is an actor, or has been an actor. He's a disabled actor, and one of the things that's most important to him and the whole disabled acting community, and by attachment, important to me, is representation of disabled actors on screen. And as most of the time, at least, Professor X is seen in a wheelchair, I wanted to try and find a wheelchair-bound actor to play Professor X. Having done a bit of research, I landed on Daryl Mitchell, an American comedy actor predominantly, who you'll have seen here and there. He does a hell of a lot of voice acting, so you've probably heard him more than you've seen him. But he sadly, for himself, had a car crash and became paralysed from the waist down, and so obviously he's now in a wheelchair. And I think in many occasions, comedy actors and sitcoms prove that they can deliver some of the greatest drama. Because if you can make people laugh, you can make people cry, and so I think I'd like to give him the chance to do just that, of stretch his acting chops a little bit, and absolutely go for it in this role, which, as we know, has plenty of diversity within it.
Yeah.
There's happiness, there's sadness, there's drama, there's action. And no matter what the focus of X-Men is, Charles Xavier will always be the central role. So I think a meaty one for him to have a go at, and again represents the disabled community. So that's who I've gone for.
Good choice. So
I think we've got. How many have we got? I've got 3 left.
I was saying on to one final villain before we discuss our how we would reboot it.
Well, I think we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 characters left.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So next up, Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde. Who have you gone for that?
I went for Hailee Steinfeld.
I thought you might.
Yeah,
very much your favourite actress at the moment, I think.
Not my favourite, but I think she plays a certain type of role
I think she's certainly a contender.
And Kitty Pryde is that kind of role she plays very well.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've talked about youth. She's got the youth. And God, has she got the quality. She seems to be one of the lucky ones who's made it through the Disney teen era and got out without a severe drug or alcohol addiction or something like that, and thankfully so. She's as she's shown in the Bumblebee film. You can bring some quality to what we thought was a dead franchise.
Yeah.
What we'd hoped was a dead franchise, to be honest, and then that film came out, and no, maybe not.
I think there's a classic panel in the comics where she shouts, Professor X is a jerk, and I think out of all potential actresses, she could deliver that line
correctly,
perfectly.
Yeah.
Who was your pick for?
Well, again, I've gone for a weird one because I looked up. I had to do a bit of research into Kitty Pryde because I know she does appear in the X-Men movies, but not necessarily
as a major. Ellen Page, isn't it?
Yeah, Ellen Page. Yeah. So she was there, but not there, and obviously overshadowed by a quite a bloating cast at that point. So I had to do a little look up, and I wanted to go really quite young actually for my interpretation of Kitty Pryde, because in the comics I think she first turns up when she's like early teens.
She's a teenager, a high school teen, I think. I'm sure I read like 14 or something like that. So when she first turns up, I wanted someone quite young. Obviously, I've got quite a young cast anyway, so I think the age gap needed to be even a bit like more noticeable. And with Kitty Pryde's particular powers, I thought someone with a certain acrobatic and athletic flair to them. I actually landed on Maddie Ziegler. Now, I don't think she's done anything of any note as an actor, but almost everyone will have seen her in music videos for Sia, the Australian actress who wears a lampshade on her head. Maddie Ziegler's the young girl who does all the dancing in that video. Yeah.
Well, in the videos, sorry. So obviously, incredible athlete, incredibly bendy, got good movement in it. We're talking about fighting earlier and having the believability of things. I think if you're going to have a young character, you need to have someone who you can believe can beat someone up as well, and especially coupled with Kitty Pryde's move set, I suppose, or her powers, then you've got someone there. I think that can pull it off. Whether she can act or not, don't know. She's probably going to be the smallest part in the film, though. Yeah. So I think you've got that leeway to have a bit of a play and maybe make sure that her action scenes are what she has to focus on, and then in potential sequels, the character and indeed the actress can grow.
So we'll go for one more villain to pair up with Magneto before we move on to discussing how we would each reboot it, and that villain is Mystique.
Yes.
Already been cast twice, so we've had 2 Mystiques already.
Yeah, although two
very
versions
different.
of the same Mystique.
Are they?
It's in the same universe. I mean, obviously, the Fox X-Men universe rips things apart anyway. But yeah, I think for argument's sake, we'll say it is the same Mystique, but obviously different actresses playing them. 2 excellent actresses in their own right.
Yeah.
So one of them, you mentioned Discovery, is now a Discovery alumni as well. So
and is going to be in an upcoming Star Trek show.
Yeah,
which,
Rebecca
if anyone
Remain
is Star Trek fans out there, Star Trek Day today. Lots of stuff about will be announced later on, I think.
We'll
get a trailer for that show.
Yeah, so we're recording this on the 8th of September, so that's what today is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
probably won't go up on the 8th of September. So that's
it certainly won't go up on the 8th of September. I'm going to try. It'll be going up on the 10th. So, I
went for Jodie Comer off of Rise of Skywalker and Killing Eve fame.
Yes. Excellent choice. I think. To be honest, fits in with the 2 other actresses that have played her.
I think she can play that kind of secret-y kind of.
Yep.
Most likely going to stab you in the back, but maybe won't.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, you've hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
I think you've got it very, very right. Because in Killing Eve, obviously her character has an odd balance of immaturity and maturity at the same time, and I think and she captures that so well. And obviously her ability with accents in Killing Eve, incredible. Till you look her up, you wouldn't know where she came from.
No.
You wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't have a clue what a dominant accent is.
Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, she's full Scouse. It's not even it's not even just like a educated Scouse, or it's like she is full Scouse, and to be able to pull off all those other accents, amazing. I mean, obviously Mystique is the master of disguise, so that is certainly something that could be written into a Jodie Comer Mystique character. That potentially she doesn't even need to fully change. That she could stay with a non-blue skin and just put a wig on and change the accent. So,
yeah. Who are you going for?
Well, sticking with Killing Eve, I've gone for the head creative on Killing Eve, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
For similar reasons, to be honest, because Mystique has that kind of sassy Bond. Well, kind of there's a strength to the character. She's independent. She's got the no one's going to get in her way. And even though she's a contemporary of Charles and Magneto, and she will stand up to both of them.
Yeah.
Even though she isn't necessarily as powerful as either, and I think it might take a slightly more comic relief spin with Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think in a similar reason to why I've chosen Michaela Cole for Storm, I think having someone of the quality behind the camera and in the writing department as Waller-Bridge, you've got someone who, when it comes to writing the female characters in particular, might actually be handy to have there, even if she isn't an official writer, as someone maybe to script consult. So I think that's my choice. We do. I've got one more written down, one more character that you suggested as well.
Okay.
So Emma Frost. So did you have an Emma Frost or?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I was just aware of our timings and was trying to keep us.
It's all right.
Focused in, but
we can
Felicity
spend 2
Jones
minutes on
was
him.
my choice for Emma Frost.
Felicity Jones. Remind me of Felicity Jones again.
You most know her probably as Jyn Ezro in Rogue One.
Erso.
Ezro.
Is it? I thought it was Erso.
Ezro.
The order of letters doesn't matter, does it? So no, not at all. So yeah, good choice. Good choice. Why did you choose her though? I mean, she's an excellent actress, but why?
For similar reasons to why I picked Henry Golding for Beast. They both. Felicity Jones has a certain austere quality to her, and Emma Frost is very. Proper's not the right word. It's very posh. Maybe isn't even the right word, but
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, and I think I'll cover it when I talk about my choice as well. Because again, a character I had to look up, character I had to do a little research on. Emma Frost was actually based on Emma Peel from a different Avengers, from the British TV series The Avengers. Which was a villain of the week spy show, really, wasn't it? Which did have an awful film released. It was either late 90s or early 90s with Ralph Fiennes and Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman was excellent, great choice for Peel. And to be honest, Ralph Fiennes was a great choice for John Steed as well. But it was just a terrible film. Like as big of a mistake as the Thunderbirds movie that Jonathan Frakes made, yes, I think based with her being based on Emma Peel, I did have a sort of Bond girl kind of thing going on in my head, but a Bond girl that was also potentially her own boss. So you've got a bit of Honor Blackman, like Pussy Galore going on in there. And I also thought, because the character was older than originated longer ago than I thought. It was 1980, I think she first appeared. So I thought in my reboot, Emma Frost is actually going to be a contemporary of Charles and of Magneto. And so I've gone for a slightly older actress. The third oldest actor in my choices, behind only Charles and Magneto, and I've gone for Lucy Lawless. So famous for, I mean, she can play that British Bond style character. She's still got the. I mean, she's known for being badass. She's known for being like someone who can kick your ass. Whether it be in what she became famous for in Xena, or anything really that's come since. So I think you've got a beautiful woman, because obviously Emma Frost is meant to be a bit of a heartbreaker, bit of a stunner. So you've got a beautiful woman who, incredible actress, and again can fight. And I think that's going to be important in this. So, go on then, James. Your mystery reboot with your cloned actors.
I don't think the X-Men should be a film. First and foremost.
Yeah.
A stage musical.
Yep.
No, it's not. It needs to be a Disney Plus TV series. I think. The X-Men is a soap opera, and let's make it a soap opera.
Ooh, a telenovela.
Yes, we'll call it Days of Our X.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
Quite like it, yeah.
But yeah, I would have it as a Disney Plus miniseries. Give the time for the characters to grow, to evolve. You get TV allows more character growth than film does.
Certainly.
It allows you to have characters learn lessons and grow from them. And I think I just think the X-Men in general works better as a TV series than it does.
I think TV's reached a point where you can do it as well.
Yeah.
Like, not just the budgets that are spent on it now, but like technology's caught up so far. I mean, obviously we've got Mandalorian now, and that was one thing that like George Lucas always said was going to be difficult to do, because like he wanted to do a TV series, but it was a question of waiting for the for technology to catch up.
Yeah.
For something like X-Men, you could do a good X-Men now, and it wouldn't be like Mutant X off of 2003 or whatever it was.
I mean, my favourite X-Men cartoon is actually X-Men Evolution, the one that came out after the first film. And that was very much kind of in a school, bit soap opera-y.
Yeah.
I think it is the better X-Men cartoon. I know everyone remembers the 90s one, but I think the early noughties one is actually the better of the two.
I think I watched it, but I would have been 18, 19, maybe even 20 by the time it came out. So it was well past my period of watching cartoons on a regular basis.
How would you reboot it?
First off, to put a final nail in the coffin of the old one, I do love Ryan Reynolds' legitimate pitch to Disney of Deadpool kills the X-Men. It works. It covers the fact that obviously as has been referred to in, I think, obviously in Spider-Verse, in Spider-Man Homecoming, there are such things as multiple universes, parallel universes. Deadpool is aware of himself, is aware of the various different universes, including of Ryan Reynolds in a DC film. That puts a nice line in the sand. It's potentially one you'd want to have I know obviously famously they did a PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2. I think Deadpool 3 would almost need to be a PG-13 so that everyone can see it, so that then it can be a very literal line in the sand. And then I'd slowly reintroduce the X-Men, starting with Wolverine. And I'd treat Wolverine as he originally was, as a Hulk villain of sorts. And I'd have that Wolverine turn up in other MCU properties, whether it be some of the TV series or some of the upcoming films, and then just have him like in a cameo of destruction almost. And it's then. So the Avengers become aware of him, and then potentially it takes the X-Men. So it takes Charles to stop him, and that's where we'll introduce the X-Men, and the X-Men will probably have a standalone film, and it possibly is hunting down the Wolverine, with the Wolverine as the villain of sorts in that film.
You potentially have Magneto and Xavier both racing
to get the Wolverine on their team. And then that
works.
And I think, I mean, it would be something that wouldn't necessarily rush too much. You can tease it, because I think obviously the what Marvel have shown over what DC did is that a good slow build towards the climax works. And with this, if you treat Wolverine as a sort of villain, then you can have that slow build while other things are going on, and then you don't have to have too many so he's like looming in the shadows to reveal some new heroes. So
that is our X-Men then.
Yeah, that is Bearcast's X-Men.
And remember,
so
clone your favourite actors.
Clone your favourite actors and put them on stage for a musical, or put them on Disney Plus. But certainly, don't let them into the cinema. So, because bad things will happen, apparently. Right. So, I hope you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. If you've got any suggestions for how you'd reboot the X-Men, and
pop them in the comments below.
Who you'd cast? Yes. We are all. Next time we're going to do a bit of a more deep dive into some pre-MCU superhero films, because the MCU changed.
Maybe even pre-millennium superhero films.
Oh, did they even exist, James? Did they even exist?
They did.
That's a long time ago.
The best superhero film is from before the millennium.
Correct. Howard the Duck.
Batman Forever, but...
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. On that note, thanks again. See you all soon. Have a good day, James. Goodbye.
See ya.